Hi guys, this is Dr. Klump. I'm here to talk to you about pre-prom decision making for the class of 2022. I want you to look at these two tables. Which one is longer, the table on the left or the table on the right? Take a second. Talk about it with your parent. Well, it turns out both of these are exactly the same length. If you were to put a ruler up to the screen, you would see that the table on the left is equally long as the table on the right. It is simply an optical illusion. A lot of what I want to talk to you about today are optical illusions. Our class of 2022, you look like adults, you're acting mostly like adults, but that is an illusion. You're still not quite there. So we have a number of things to talk about in order to make sure that you actually are safe for the weekend. You're not acting like an adolescent, but you're acting like an adult. So first, I want to welcome all of you. I'm glad you got to this point in your high school career. I'm looking forward to you celebrating the prom and, of course, graduation day. We have to talk about how to keep you and your family safe and your friends safe during this exciting time. So we're going to be talking about the social host law, what to know. We're going to talk about zero tolerance. We're going to talk about distracted driving and speed. We're going to talk about having a clear communication plan with your parents and guardians, including conversation starters. And finally, we're going to wrap up with a prom pledge. And you are going to record a prom pledge in the presence of your parent or guardian, and you're going to upload that before you can buy prom tickets. So here we go. All right. So what is a social host law? In short, the social host law is that if you're hosting a party where there are minors drinking, you can be sued civilly and you're subject to $10,000 worth of fines. If you come upon minors' parents that are drinking, you must take corrective action. That is a demand that kids stop drinking, that they leave a premises, and that corrective action has to be reasonable, that you're not sending kids, or you will be liable personally and civilly to leave a premises if they're intoxicated. You may have to call the police. If a minor refuses to comply with a request, an adult must promptly report underage drinking or drugs to local law enforcement or people with a higher degree of authority, i.e., the other person's parents or guardians. Okay. Here is a number where you can report underage drinking to Suffolk County. Zero tolerance. So, students, you really need to understand this. If you're stopped by a police officer for having consumed any amount of alcohol and the officer deems that you have consumed some alcohol, you will lose your license, your newly gained, hard-earned license. There's a zero tolerance. You will not be able to qualify to get it back until you're 21. Parents, you are liable for your children's behavior by law. If they are driving carelessly, so I want to talk about this a little bit greater detail. Listen, the weather is going to get nice. Students, of course, you like to drive and listen to some music. You're going to turn the volume up. You're going to put some friends in your car. This is a host. This is a recipe for potential disaster. Okay? We know that with age and experience with driving, we get safer and safer. So our new drivers, you put a formula in there. We put a couple friends in the car. No drugs or alcohol. I'm just talking about you put two additional passengers in the car, and the propensity is for kids to drive more unsafely. One, they're going to turn the radio up. Windows are coming down. What happens? Speeding, tailgating, insufficient scanning. We know that young drivers are 300 to 500% more likely to get into an accident than an adult. And that's one of the reasons that we see insurance rates for young people being so high. So I'm not concerned so much with the insurance rates. What I am concerned about are safe decisions. And so students and parents, I'm begging you to avoid disaster and tragedy. Please have some conversations about, hey, if we're going to the beach, who's going to be in the car? How many kids are in the car? Students, don't be scared to be a leader. I got to concentrate on the road. I don't have that much experience. Turn the radio down. We have to be safe and we have to protect one another. It's an exciting time, but it's in a time with more and more freedoms for our young people. And I am begging you to help us avoid tragedy. A few years back, we had a couple kids in a car. They were headed to the beach. Thank God, it resulted in minor injuries, including a broken leg. It could have been so much worse as the kids drove off the road. So, parents, students, I'm begging you, make some promises to one another about what to do with regard to driving and how many kids can be in your car. Distracted driving, looking at your cell phone, having that radio up, it increases our risk of losing one of our young people. So, we have to limit the distractions in order to keep one another safe. Cell phones should be away. Your parents may be calling you. The cell phone can wait. Playing the radio loudly. Certainly not looking at your phone for texting. It needs to wait when you're driving a car. This is my biggest fear is that distracted driving we will lose somebody. Nighttime driving is another piece that I missed there, but you can read these for yourselves. We have to use our safety belts. We have to remember that with experience, we become safer as drivers. And so while you have your senior license, I'm begging you, you're not experienced drivers quite yet. Nighttime driving is different than daytime driving. Okay, next topic. I just need to throw this out there. I'm changing gears a little bit. There is a Good Samaritan law in New York State. If you suspect somebody is overdosing, if they possess drugs, if they possess drug paraphernalia, you cannot get in trouble. You cannot get in trouble. New York State has a Good Samaritan law. It protects you even if you've done drugs. So again, today's topic is about keeping one another safe. Bad decisions are made, but what we do when we're in those situations, if you saw somebody overdosing, don't ever hesitate to call the police. Okay, last part of uh, and most important part of this prom weekend, graduation, etc., is about communication. Parents, I beg you to have conversations that start with, "What if? What if the person you know is giving you a ride has had 2 drinks, 1 drink? What if your child is going to the beach and they're driving a car? How many people can they drive? What if somebody is going to be coming home late at night and they're not staying someplace?" Again, these possibilities differ for each child and each family, but we know that this is a time of high expectation. It's a celebratory time. Our kids are graduating from high school, they're going on to college, the workforce, military. We begin treating them as adults, but we have to have a plan before the weekend of the prom and graduation. It's a lot. There are high expectations. Everybody thinks it's going to be the best time of their life, and we're just trying to make sure that we are communicating at a high level. Your kids should feel safe calling you at any time. We have to run through possible scenarios. Maybe there's another child that you don't like their decision making. You should give your kid a way out and pre-plan those conversations. Lastly, I'm going to ask that every parent and every student remain on camera and video record the student reading the following prom promise. I promise that I will respect and obey the law. I promise that I will drive only when I am alcohol and drug free. I promise I will never allow any alcohol or illegal drugs in my car. I promise I will not accept rides from drivers under the influence of drugs and or alcohol. I promise that I will have a plan to call for a ride in case I or my driver is under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I promise not to text talk on the phone while driving. Again, parents, I want your child to look you in the eye. I want somebody to record that as they make their prom promise and load that up onto our Google form. Listen, class of 2022, we want you to be safe. We want this to be one of the best times in your young lives as you transition to college, careers, in the military. Have a great day.